welcome. Please do come in. Now, how can I help you? Oh, but then you've definitely come to the right place. This is the Evil Queen's Caramel Apple Emporium, after all. Oh, yes, I tried my hand at selling bubbles and bits here and there, mostly mirrors, but, well, let's just say I have a bit of a sweet tooth, and, well, revenge is best served in the form of a caramel apple, isn't it? Or candied apple, whichever you prefer. Yes, all of the caramel apples you'll find here are packaged in these plastic wrappings. It's to keep in their magical potency. It's an enchanted plastic wrap, of course. I wouldn't store it in any ordinary packaging, but, have you ever been here before? I didn't think so. Well, why don't I show you some of my favorites? Oh, good. It's not as if you really had any choice in the matter, you see, because, well, I haven't had a customer come in all week, really, and I'm a bit lonely, so it'd be nice to have a little chat with you. Oh, don't worry. I don't bite too hard, anyway. So, what exactly brings you in? You looking for a curse or a hex? Oh, lovely. That's my favorite. So you're a jilted lover then, are you? Well, I've seen my fair share of those over the years. In fact, I've played that role many times myself, I can assure you. But let's see what we can find for you today. A sweet treat with a bit of an edge. Well, I do have to show you my all-time favorite. It's this Granny Smith apple here, covered in a delectable layer of caramel, and the caramel just so happens to be tinged with a curse of sorts. Whoever bites this apple, well, has the misfortune of becoming a toad or a lizard, depending upon several different factors, mainly their personality traits to begin with. I've even had someone turn into a sea turtle once after consuming just a nibble of this little morsel. Oh, and I forgot to mention, all of the apples I'll be showing you today are satisfaction guaranteed. So, if it doesn't work, you get your money back. Of course, there is a proof process that I go through. After all, I can't have everyone asking for 3 apples and such, so no, but you needn't worry about that. So, this next apple here is a delightful little gem. It's a red apple, so it's a bit sweeter than the traditional caramel apple. It's coated in a layer of dark chocolate, then a layer of gooey caramel, and then, just for good measure, I tossed on a few dark chocolate chips. It sounds delicious, doesn't it? But you won't want to have a taste of this, dear. 1 crumb, 1 little tidbit of caramel will curse you with bad luck for 5 years, give or take. I can always up the dose for more if you're feeling particularly vengeful, but I figured 5 is a good round figure. Now, this must be consumed on the full moon, though. That is the only caveat. And, well, it only works on one person, so once your victim, let's call them that, let's be honest, consumes any part of the apple, or the coating for that matter, it will not work on any others. So it's a single-use apple, to be perfectly blunt. And a variety of my apples are like that. I feel that they're the most potent that way, and that's the way I've created them. You could always boost the magic factor, so to speak, by going and talking to the local sorceress, but I don't recommend it. No, you don't want it getting out of your hands now, do you? Now this next one here is, well, it's particularly spiteful. But you seem like the kind of person who's all in, Yes, I thought so. After all, if you can't do anything in full, why do anything at all? So, this apple, see the way it shines? It's a candied apple, so it's unique. It's a Granny Smith apple coated in a layer of red, glistening candy, and on the outside I've put a sprinkle of peanuts, just to make it look a bit more inconspicuous, you see. Now this apple will render someone speechless for an entire year. Now, of course, it won't cause any deformity within their mouths or anything as vulgar as that. It's just that they'll be tongue-tied, so to speak. They won't be able to utter a word. Now, they'll find other ways to communicate, I'm sure, writing or possibly even some form of hand language. But nothing is quite as direct as the spoken word. So, for instance, if they're in love with someone else and you want to put an end to that, this would be the apple you might want to consider. It's one of our least expensive options as well, simply because it's not as powerful as some of the others, but it'll do the trick. No, this isn't far enough for you, is it? Let's see here. This one. A spicy apple. It's a red apple, coated with caramel, and a bit of cayenne pepper. Now the cayenne pepper, I can assure you, is well hidden within the caramel, so they won't know until their mouth is on fire. Not literally, of course. But, this one is harsh, my dear. I don't know if you want to go quite this far. You see, whoever has the misfortune of eating this apple will be unable to fall in love for the rest of their days. Now, there are 5 people that I know of who can break the curse that this apple possesses, but they are very distant and aloof individuals. So even if the person does find them to help remedy the curse, they probably won't be cooperative in any way. Yes. So, but this one it is very vengeful. I won't sugarcoat it, pun intended. It's irreversible, one of the few things that I have in here that are irreversible, so you'll have to bear that in mind. Let's see. This is another great one here. An oldie but goodie. It's the Toffee Apple. So it's a traditional toffee apple, essentially covered in a luscious layer of toffee and then just a little drizzle of caramel and white chocolate with marshmallows on top to make it look extra nice and sweet. But it is not nice and sweet. Let me ease your mind on that. See, this apple will allow anyone to read minds. Now I know what you're thinking. Isn't this a spell that's intended for good? Wouldn't it be wonderful to read minds? No, it would not. I, unfortunately, had to read minds for about a year, a decade or so ago. It was an enchantment that somebody put upon me, and, well, I got back at them, but during that year, it was sheer terror. We always think that we want to know what other people are thinking, but we really don't. And whoever bites this apple will learn that lesson the hard way. It lasts for about 10 years, which is, of course, much longer than I had my affliction, but who's to say they will last the whole 10 years without going insane? Let's put it that way. Okay, let's see, and I have one last apple for... No, I take that back, 2 apples. This is my lavender apple. So it's a caramel apple, and I've sprinkled it with lavender and rosebuds on the outside, making it look oh so sweet and romantic. People have even come in here mistakenly to purchase this for their valentines, and, well, one of them I let walk out of here because he was smug, but the others I gave a word of warning. This apple will turn the person into, well, it all depends upon who they are. I've had one become a troll, one become a fiendish little nymph, and another who became a pig. That one was a little odd. Usually it's a magical creature that they transform into, but like I said, it all depends upon who they are and, well, what sort of wrong they've done to you. And then, the last one. I think I've saved the best for last. Well, I know I said that the first one was my favorite, but I think I may have to amend that and say that this one really does take the cake. Or the caramel apple, anyway. This one, this little delectable I have here, is a candied caramel apple. So there's a layer of candy coating, covered by a layer of caramel, covered by a layer of melted marshmallow, covered by yet another layer, I know, of dark chocolate. Sometimes they have a hard time getting their teeth into it. That is why this particular apple works simply by licking it. So, yeah, the minute it touches their lips, you're good to go. So, this apple, how do I explain this? Well, the person whom you give it to will emit, a rather pungent odor for the rest of their lives. Now, this isn't any ordinary odor. It's something that's so appalling and so repulsive that no one will want to get in possibly a 10 to 20 yard radius of them. Yes, it's quite strong. Now, the original recipe I created for this was much milder, but I felt it didn't have the desired effect, so over the years I've tweaked it just a bit here and there, and I think it's pure perfection now. So now tell me, which one caught your eye? Oh, that's a lovely choice. Here you are. And I'll tell you what. If you promise to come back, this one's on the house. Oh, good. Now I'm going to hold you to that. Lovely. Well, here you are then, and the best of luck to you. Please, do come back sooner rather than later. It does get quite quiet.